All right, hello everybody. This is going to be a quick video for the assignment in 3900 called the Subject-Specific Pedagogical Skills Portfolio. I'm going to walk you through kind of the expectation for this assignment. It's a very simple assignment in terms of completing the assignment and doing it, but the reason and the purpose behind the assignment is really important. And I'll kind of talk about that at the end of the video. So let me first start with just going through the process of how to do this assignment, and then I'll talk about the why. Why is it important that we're doing this assignment? So when you go into Canvas, you go under modules, you go under section 1, you will see subject-specific pedagogical skills form. Once you click that form, this is what pops up. And essentially, this is what the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing, they're kind of the governing body of helping you get a license to teach in California. They are expecting you in each of your content areas to develop pedagogical skills. Pedagogical means like your ability to teach your content area to students. And so all of the subject matters are represented here from English, and you scroll down, you see math and so forth. I'm going to focus this training just on English. It was what I taught and just what I understand. And also keeping in mind for my English candidates that the only thing you can copy from me in this video is the first one. After that, I'm going to expect you to do or find something different. And so what you would do then is you are looking at all these standards and you're trying to make sense of what it is that the commission wants you to be able to do, because these are all standards. And so, for example, standard 1, the commission is asking you as a candidate to demonstrate the ability to teach the state-adopted academic content standards for students in English language arts and English language development. Now, here's the why. That's going to happen throughout the program. In the first semester and the second semester, you're going to be practicing teaching lessons that are aligned to the academic content standards in your subject matter area. And so that's not necessarily something I'm expecting now. What I want you to do now is find something, whether that is a lesson plan or whether that is student materials or whether that's a teaching strategy that would help you get closer in accomplishing that goal. And so, for example, one thing that I would accept that would be really easy for standard 1 is get to know your standards. At this point in the game, you might not know those fully. And for me as a professor, I know when I want you, and when you come into the program, I would love if you already had a really robust understanding of the standards that you have to teach students or that the state is asking you to teach students. So I looked that up. They're right here. And so what I would do, and I can kind of go back to show you where I went through that process, is I just typed in California Content Area Standards. I clicked the Content Area Standards. I went down to English, and these popped up. So now, to provide evidence that I have these standards, that or at least I have a reference for them for the assignment in this class, I would just download these really quick. Call them whatever you want. I'll just keep it as the final standards. And so then what I want to do now is, in some way, you can do this in Dropbox. You can do this in any way that you feel like would be a concise way to organize all of this. You want to now start organizing these resources that you're finding. So I'm going to use Google. I'm pretty comfortable with Google, and if you want to use the same, it's beneficial. So I went to Google Drive. I created a folder called the Subject-Specific Pedagogical folder, and I'm labeling this standard 1 because I know when I go back and look at your standards that standard 1 has to do something with the standards. And so I would open this folder, click New, click File Upload, and then I'd go to my downloads, and there are my standards, and I'd go ahead and upload them. And so essentially now I've completed standard 1. I'm done. I've done exactly what the assignment has asked me to do. Find a resource that would help me get closer to accomplishing that standard. Well, in order to do that standard, I need to know my standards. So this would be a perfect first example. So now I'm going to go back and show you a little bit more. I'm going to do a second example. Standard 5 says that as a candidate, I need to be able to teach students how to produce argumentative, informative, narrative texts. And so maybe, and there can be a lot of things that I find here, but maybe I want to find something that will help me teach students how to write those 3 texts. So I just did a little internet search. And this was something I used in my own classes when I taught. I got this from a book that I had read. But you could be reading books. You could get something from your subject matter prep program. If you didn't have a subject matter prep program, you could just do some internet searching for things and resources related to the standard that you're focused on. And I ended up finding this really cool lesson/teaching strategy idea for how to teach argument to students that seems really fun and engaging. And when I taught it, it was so much fun. My students loved this lesson. So once again, I'm going to download this, just save it under that file. I'll go back over here. Now, if you're not familiar with Google, I'm going to walk you through the process now of creating a folder. So you click New, click Folder. I'm going to title this now Standard 5 because I'm going to double check that was the standard. That was the one. Okay, so Standard 5. Now I've created a folder. I'm going to open that folder, click New, and I'm going to upload that file. And essentially, I'm going to keep going through this process until I've completed all the standards in that form. Now, when the time comes to share it with me, all you have to do is click here, and this is in Google. You have to find out how to do this in the other formats you choose to do. I click Share. Again, I've given you the email address I wanted you to send it to, and that is my Gmail account, especially if you're using Google. And then you essentially just send it to me. And I'm not going to send it to myself, but you get the idea. And once that folder is complete, has everything in there with all the standards organized with documents connected to them, then this assignment is complete. And then I'll go ahead and review it and just ensure that you have quality resources. And if there's anything I'm curious about, I might just send you an invite to revise particular standards that I felt like you missed the mark on, if you missed the mark. So I hope that that's helpful. And again, the purpose of this is then by the end of this class is you can take this resource binder going into your first semester of student teaching as you begin to practice these standards and practice learning them, understanding them, implementing them. You'll have these resources to begin to start doing that. And so in semester 1, it's really a formative experience. You're going to be working with your CT. You're going to be trying to develop your skill set to meet these standards. And then in semester 2, you'll have a university supervisor come out and actually evaluate you on your lessons and the way that you teach and the way that you're hitting those standards. So again, this is just a building block in that larger process. So any questions at this point, feel free to direct them my way, but that is essentially the subject-specific pedagogical portfolio that's due for 3900.